On r/iceberg charts, Reddit user enoughsyllabub7332 posted a series of icebergs which they dubbed the evil YouTuber's iceberg. This is the final version. The iceberg begins with simple YouTuber scandals, but slowly devolves into YouTubers who abuse their significant others, animals, and even children. Eventually, we reach the depths of the iceberg where we find YouTubers who became mass killers. Relax, grab something to eat and drink, or get ready to fall asleep, because this will be a very long video. Jimmy Donaldson, more commonly known by his YouTube alias Mr. Beast, is one of the most popular YouTubers on the platform, with over 400 million subscribers and nearly 1,000 videos, most of which have tens of, if not hundreds, of millions of views. While Mr. Beast has managed to avoid any major controversies like others on this iceberg, he does have a fair share of minor scandals, such as faking and rigging the results of his videos, giving out rewards to friends rather than his subscribers, and moldy lunchlies. For this iceberg, however, I believe it is referencing the legal action taken against Mr. Beast's Prime Video show, Beast Games, which includes allegations that contestants suffered in an environment that systematically fostered a culture of misogyny and sexism, as well as allegations that contestants were underfed or did not receive important medications, which left some hospitalized. Another YouTuber no stranger to controversy is KSI. KSI is massively successful and has been on YouTube for quite some time, creating his account over 16 years ago in 2009. In 2023, KSI joined up to make a video with his YouTube group known as the Sidemen, consisting of many of KSI's close friends. This video featured their version of the British game show Countdown, where contestants must compete in 3 game types: 10-letter rounds, in which they attempt to make the longest word possible from 9 randomly chosen letters, 4 numbers round, in which they must use arithmetic to reach a random target figure from 6 other numbers, and the conundrum, a buzzer round in which the contestants compete to solve a 9-letter anagram. During one of these rounds, KSI created a 4-letter derogatory word for people of South Asian origin. Surprisingly, the video editors decided to leave that part in, leading to community outrage over KSI's insensitivity. While KSI went on to apologize, many of his fans believed it to be insincere, with one stating, "The fact that it made it onto YouTube, many people watched that numerous times and said, 'Yeah, that's fine.' And I think that's worth noting, because again, it just speaks of a normalization of a certain type of racism." Ali Koja is a YouTuber who saw huge success in a very short amount of time. After creating his account in October of 2019, Koja went on to garner over 2 million subscribers and over 2 billion views to his channel, primarily through his popular YouTube shorts, many of which have tens of millions of views. However, Koja has seen a significant drop in his viewership, with only a handful of his shorts reaching 1 million views, and most failing to reach even 100,000. But what caused such a significant decline in views? Well, it all relates back to Mr. Beast. Another one of Mr. Beast's controversies, when Dogpack404 uploaded 2 extremely popular videos, "I Worked for Mr. Beast, He's a Sociopath," and "I Worked for Mr. Beast, He's a Fraud," both of which have over 10 million views. These videos are nearly an hour long and would take too long to discuss here, But the fundamental controversy came when Ali Koja criticized Dogpack 404, claiming his video was an attempt of clout chasing, and since Mr. Beast had done plenty of good work for charity, that Dogpack's criticisms are invalid. Koja also mocked Dogpack's appearance, which rubbed many of his viewers the wrong way. In addition to this, Koja went on to discuss his experiences in Thailand, with many viewers alleging that Koja had been involved with minors and massages in the country. All of this led to a massive decline in his viewership, with his videos receiving only a fraction of the attention they once did. Nutshell Animations is a wildly successful YouTube channel with over 10 million subscribers and 3.3 thousand videos that have accumulated over 10 billion views. Nutshell's popularity is owed to their decision to animate trending audio clips, creating a successful formula and likely generating quite a bit of money for the channel. Despite this, the channel's animators have allegedly received roughly $50 per video, which, depending on the views that the shorts get, equates to only a small percentage of what they create. Another aspect to the controversy is that many of these animators are allegedly underage, leading many to argue that Nutshell Animations is exploiting them, and oftentimes never even crediting them for their work. While these controversies have led to the creation of some popular videos, such as Beto 999 series on Nutshell Animations, it does not seem to have really affected the views that their shorts receive. Discussing in any depth the sheer amount of controversies that Drama Alert has been involved in is simply not possible, even if I dedicated this entire video's length to just Keemstar and his channel. Drama Alert has accumulated over 5 million subscribers in its 11 years on the platform, and has been at the forefront of many of YouTube's biggest controversies. The most prominent controversies of Keemstar's career include using slurs, wishing to report on Total Biscuit's death from cancer, accusing streamer Tony Winchester of being a pedophile, allegedly exploiting Etika, and denying the possibility that Jake Paul could have sexually assaulted someone. Today, Keemstar is no longer involved with the Drama Alert channel, but has since started a podcast known as LolCow Live, and is still active on social media. Ruby Frank once ran a popular vlog channel known as 8 Passengers, where she and her husband Kevin shared moments of their life with their children to their audience of over 2 million people. However, the seemingly perfect life of the Franks was anything but. In August of 2023, Frank was arrested on child abuse charges when her 12-year-old son approached a neighbor to take him to the police station. The boy was malnourished and had duct tape on his open wounds. He had escaped from an open window in their home.
Yes. Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station. Well, actually, just one's fine.
Well, what's going on, son? Have a seat there.
It's personal business.
Have a seat. What's your name? I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house. He's emaciated. He's got tape around his legs. He's hungry and he's thirsty.
Need someone immediately.
But He has duct tape
and
around
big
his ankle.
injuries, there's sores around them.
Yeah, there's sores around him. I think the good chance he's been...
He also has
and he has around his
wrist
ankle.
as well.
I mean, his wrist as well. Okay, this boy has been...
Needs immediate attention. Oh, he was such a good kid.
This kid has obviously been... I think he's been... so he escaped.
Frank believed that abusing her children was necessary to repent for their sins and cast away evil spirits. On February 20th, 2024, Judge John J. Walton of Utah's 5th Judicial District Court sentenced Ruby Frank to serve 4 to 30 years in the Utah State Prison, the maximum sentence for this type of offense. Daddy05, once run by Michael Christopher Martin, was a daily vlogging channel which, at the height of its viewership, featured Martin, his wife Heather, and their children. In 2017, after several pranks on the children were shown, viewers became uncomfortable with the nature of these pranks, which seemed more like child abuse than any lighthearted gags. In the pursuit of increased views, many videos involved Mike encouraging his oldest son, Jake, to essentially abuse his younger siblings, often to the point of injury and emotional distress. One of these videos included Cody, the second youngest child, being thrown through a doorway by Jake and against a bookcase by Mike, leading to Cody's face becoming injured. Another video, which was presented by Philip DeFranco, was an example of Daddy05's horrific emotional abuse. The two youngest sons, Cody and Alex, are screamed at and accused of spilling invisible ink, causing the sons to begin crying hysterically. Ultimately, prosecutors from the Frederick County Circuit Court filed criminal charges against Mike and Heather in August 2017, where they later pleaded guilty and were sentenced to 5 years of supervised probation. Their channel, which stood at around 730,000 subscribers, was terminated. I'm Jay Station, also known as Jason Matthew Ethier, is a Canadian internet personality and former YouTuber who primarily uploaded videos of 3 a.m. challenges, which were wildly successful and meme-worthy during their time on the platform. Jay Station first ran into controversy when in 2018, he was arrested at Florida's Walt Disney World for trespassing and resisting arrest. The next year, Jay Station posted videos where he attempted to contact deceased celebrities via Ouija boards and other paranormal methods, including referencing the recent suicide of Etika. However, the controversy that would ultimately lead to the downfall of Jay Station and his ban from YouTube was in 2020, when he announced that his girlfriend, another YouTuber known as Alexia Morano, had been killed by a drunk driver. This was quickly proven to be false, and was revealed to be a publicity stunt. Following this, Morano separated from Jay Station and accused him of abusing her, causing the Toronto police to issue a warrant for Jay Station's arrest. He was subsequently charged with assault. In 2021, I'm Jay Station and his other channels were terminated by YouTube. Squizzy, also known as Hyojin Choi, is a South Korean Australian YouTuber and Twitch streamer, primarily known for her animation and speed paint videos, which gained her over 800,000 subscribers on YouTube. Controversy began surrounding Squizzy when it was revealed that she had been abusive to her dog, where she allegedly picked up the dog and dropped it on its back before laughing about it. However, this was disputed by Aiden Walker, who stated that Squizzy did not live with the dog, nor did she deliberately hurt the dog. apparently only pushing it off of a couch when it jumped on her. This would not be the only source of controversy for Squizzy, however, as she would later be accused of bullying her friends and repeatedly using slurs, even on stream. Not only that, but she was also found to have been operating an NSFW account where she drew fellow YouTubers in a pornographic nature, one of which was 16 years old at the time of the drawing. In response to this, Squizzy tweeted, stating that she was going to kill herself. She was soon hospitalized and placed in a mental ward, but has since been released. The last straw for Squizzy's fans was on July 19th, 2022, when her ex-boyfriend, Punk Dunk, stated that Hyojin had been emotionally and physically abusive during their 2-year relationship, allegedly smashing his head against a wall and threatening his life with a knife, which was confirmed when it was revealed that Hyojin had admitted to doing all of those things in a Discord DM. On August 3rd, 2022, Squizzy apologized and stated that she would be taking a very, very long break. Since the apology, Hyojin has been silent and has deleted both her Patreon and YouTube pages. Spinozilla Saurian is a seemingly inactive YouTuber, with his last video being posted almost a year ago, that has gained just under 50,000 subscribers in his time on the platform. Spinozilla focused primarily on Godzilla content, such as reviewing various toys and creating memes based on Godzilla. However, Spinozilla also had another interest: lolly content. Spinozilla repeatedly liked NSFW images of underage characters on X, such as Gwen Stacy, a character that is 15 and 16 in the respective movies. On TikTok, Spinozilla also made transphobic, homophobic, and racist remarks. Katie Karen Diekmeyer, known as That Vegan Teacher online, is a Canadian animal rights activist and internet personality, primarily known for her vegan promoting content. Her main channel has reached over 268,000 subscribers and is continuing to post videos to this day. While Katie has always drawn some attention for her content, of which many people enjoy making fun of, she has landed herself in some hot water on several occasions. In March 2021, a YouTube video titled, "Are You Racist?" was uploaded by Katie, which featured her spelling out the N-word for an acrostic poem, with a message of banning cruelty instead of words. Later that same year, 16-year-old YouTuber Tommy Innit uploaded a TikTok video showing off his YouTube play button. Beneath that video, Katie commented, "Tommy, the nice vegan girls don't want to see your buttons, but if you want them to play with your buttons, you're going to have to show them your fruits and your vegetables," while taking out a cucumber, pear, and apple. Since Tommy Innit was underage, people became outraged at Katie's comment, who later doubled down, stating that he was considered a college-age student. Shortly after, That Vegan Teacher was banned by TikTok. I am not sure exactly what the Iceberg is referencing for Bluey Productions. At first I thought it meant the Australian kids show Bluey, but while they do have an official YouTube channel, I haven't been able to find anything that would place them in the pedo-adjacent category. Instead, I did find an article on the Soup Earth Society wiki involving a voice actor known as Bluey Productions, who, in the Number Lore series, voiced 44 and 77. In a now deleted video, Bluey Productions allegedly exposed the face of perplexed Polygon, the voice actor for 24. Later, Bluey admitted that the face did not belong to Perplexed Polygon, but to someone named Stryker, and was uploaded without their consent. I'm assuming based on the category that Stryker was a minor, though I have been unable to verify this. Bluey also created an NSFW video involving the numbers 77 and 34, which was created without the consent of 34's voice actor, Detret the Person. Just a Robot is a YouTuber known primarily for his commentaries on political and social issues, including movies and controversies surrounding fellow YouTubers. His first account was hacked in 2018 and later deleted, but he has since received quite a following on his new account, with nearly 200,000 subscribers and several videos with over 500,000 views. The first major controversy Just a Robot experienced was in 2023, when he made a video about fellow YouTuber and friend SpocterTech, who allegedly had CP on his computer of his former girlfriend that had been taken when she was just 14. Apparently, Just a Robot and SpocterTech came to an agreement over not uploading the video. Later, when SpocterTech did not support Just a Robot in some other YouTube drama, Just a Robot released the video. In 2024, Just a Robot uploaded another video titled The CineBear03 Rabbit Hole, where he attempted to debunk claims made against another YouTuber, CineBear03, who had sent graphic images to minors and even roleplayed sexually with them. It was later revealed that Just a Robot barely read the important documents despite making a video about the topic that was over an hour long. In 2025, YouTuber Kalimara released a video titled Setting the Record Straight about the VidCon encounters with Just a Robot, where she claimed that at VidCon in 2023 and 2024, Just a Robot had behaved inappropriately towards her and her friends. In 2009, Carl Herold created a Reddit community known as Carl H. Programming, where he offered helpful computer programming courses completely for free, later adding such videos to his YouTube channel, Carl Herold. Carl went on to become essentially a Reddit celebrity, and even earned the User of the Day award in 2012. However, by the end of 2013, Carl H. seemingly disappeared completely from his active presence on YouTube and Reddit. It was soon revealed that Herold had been arrested by the Huntsville, Alabama Police Department. But why? The reality was that Carl Herold and his partner Charles Dunavant had routinely sexually assaulted Herold's 9-year-old son, and had recorded some of it to sell online. Despite facing child pornography production and distribution charges, as well as multiple counts of sodomy and sexual abuse, Carl denied the allegations made against him. However, instead of fighting these charges, Carl hanged himself in his jail cell in November of 2014. Amos Yi Pangsang, or more commonly known simply as Amos Yi, is a Singaporean former blogger and YouTuber who was also once a child actor. Yi is seemingly someone who enjoys creating controversy, as he intentionally criticized former Singaporean Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, which led to his arrest and later launched criticisms against Christianity and Islam, which led to another arrest. After seeking asylum in the United States in 2017, Yi went on to upload 3 videos to YouTube titled Why Pedophilia is Alright, Don't Discriminate Pedophiles, and Free Speech for the Pedophile. These were quickly demonetized, and later Yee's entire channel was terminated for violating community guidelines. In October 2020, Yee was arrested in Illinois on charges of solicitation and possession of child pornography after exchanging messages and pictures with a 14-year-old girl via WhatsApp. Yee later pled guilty on 2 charges in exchange for a 6-year prison sentence. Yee was released on parole in October 2023, but quickly went on to reiterate his support of pedophilia and detail his plans to re-offend and return to Singapore. On November 8, 2023, Yee was arrested again for violating his parole conditions and was transferred to the maximum security Statesville Correctional Center in Illinois, and later the Danville Correctional Center. His projected parole date is November 7th, 2025. Thaddeus McMichael, also known as MadDad0890, is a convicted sex offender with a YouTube channel that is still active today, where he discusses everything from anime and superheroes to more general talks about society. As of today, he has around 8,000 subscribers and just over 400 videos. While MadDad0890 may seem harmless, he harbors a dark past. In 2012, MadDad was arrested for possession of roughly 600 images of child sex abuse material and was subsequently convicted in 2013. He spent 5 years in prison, but has since been released as of 2018. There is an entire page for MadDad on Encyclopedia Dramatica, but given the nature of the site, I am reluctant to take all of the information as fact. Ian Anthony Koczynski, better known as Vosh, is a YouTuber and former Twitch streamer who created their account in 2019 and has since garnered over 500,000 subscribers. In October 2019, Vosh debated vegan bodybuilder Richard Burgess, also known as Vegan Gains, where he essentially argued for the legalization of child pornography, stating that buying child porn isn't at all dissimilar to buying from monstrous transnational corporations who hurt millions of children through economic exploitation. He also claimed previously that drawn CP should be completely legal. While Vosh is certainly a controversial creator, I think he should be placed in the prior section of the iceberg, as while he did argue for the position of legalizing CP, I do not see any evidence that he has ever actually possessed any, nor has he ever been arrested or prosecuted. Donzel Edward Owens Jr., also known by his YouTube alias Plasma Master Don, was a YouTuber who had grown surprisingly popular for his covers of famous songs, garnering nearly 500,000 subscribers. On December 11, 2020, fellow YouTuber Nick Crowley published a video titled YouTube's Hidden Predator, which discussed a post made on r/morbid reality that brought to light that a person named Donzel Edward Owens had been arrested for sexual imposition in August of 2019. The post, of course, did not outright state that Plasma Master Don and Donzel Edward Owens were the same person, but the two certainly looked the same, lived in the same area, and even had the same car. 4 days after the Morbid Reality post was made, Plasma Master Don announced on October 14, 2020, that he planned to step away from YouTube due to declining health. On December 21, 2020, it was announced that Plasma Master Don had passed away at 73 years old. While I did quite a bit of searching for this channel, the only channel I could find was Crazy Croc Productions, which is seemingly just a kids channel. There are plenty of cartoon animals involved in the animations, but nothing that seems overtly sexual or abusive. In the channel's description it states, "If you see obscene/mundane videos without my permission portraying my appearance/content in ways that are inappropriate, stay away from channels like these who make them, especially if you're in the comment section. And my videos are for a general/PG audience, not for you to say perverted messages on. You'll be blocked if you make them." Given these statements, I'm assuming Crazy Croc has had some issues with sexual comments, but I haven't seen any evidence of this as most of the comment sections on these videos are turned off. If anyone knows anything about this channel that deems it worthy of being this low on the iceberg, let me know in the comments below. Pollution Entertainment, also known by his real name Matias Ignacio Vera Oyarzo, is an active YouTuber with a channel of 3.34 thousand subscribers and 60 videos which seem primarily focused on religious content, advice, and gaming content. However, his original channel, which has since been deleted, had nearly 60,000 subscribers. While Matias's new channel receives little attention now, there was a huge discussion online about Pollution Entertainment several years ago. In December of 2018, Pollution Entertainment uploaded several videos of him abusing, torturing, and eventually killing his cat, before adopting kittens to abuse, which were thankfully taken away from him. While the videos were taken down, YouTube refused to remove the channel or take any further action, to the outrage of many viewers as well as some prominent YouTubers, including Scare Theater and Penguin Zero. The entire situation bothered many people, as channels have been terminated for far less in far less time, and Pollution's content clearly violated community guidelines. Korean YouTuber So Young is an active channel with over 12 million subscribers who tune in to watch her ASMR and mukbang videos, which show her eating extremely large amounts of food. While the mukbang genre has always received some criticism for its gluttonous and wasteful practices, So Young's channel has a much darker side. While it appears some of these videos have since been deleted, there was a time where many of So Young's most popular videos featured her not just eating live animals, but actively causing them to suffer, such as pouring salt onto them to watch them squirm before either cooking them or eating them raw. One such example was So Young's dancing squid video, where the squid's hoods were cut off and their eyes exposed before soy sauce was poured on top of them, causing them to writhe in pain and appear to be dancing. While muscle contractions can still happen after death, especially when a salty substance is poured on top of them, it is not always clear, especially to the average viewer. YouTube's community guidelines prohibit any unnecessary suffering or harm to animals, so to many this was a clear violation. Whether it was community backlash or action taken by YouTube, many of the most disturbing videos uploaded by So Young have since been removed. Leighton Laboute, also known by his YouTube alias Dollyflesh, was a Canadian clay animator who specialized in creepy and often extremely gory content. While Leighton's content was certainly disturbing and often lifelike, one such example is discussed in my Darkest Videos Found on YouTube series, it wasn't necessarily against YouTube's guidelines. That was until Dollyflesh decided to upload a sadistic video of him torturing and killing 3 of his recently adopted pet hamsters. These videos were immediately removed by YouTube and the Dollyflesh channel later terminated. Thankfully, legal action was also taken against Leighton, who was arrested and charged by Canadian authorities in May of 2019. He was ultimately put under an 18-month conditional sentence and 4 to 5 years of supervision, where he was prohibited from entering pet stores, as well as forbidden from possessing tweezers or scissors. Logan Paul has one of the largest channels on YouTube with over 23 million subscribers and 6 billion views in total. With the amount of success that Logan has accumulated over the years, he has also accumulated many controversies. One of these controversies, of which there are multiple instances, are allegations that Logan is abusive towards animals. A pig he purchased, which he named Pearl, was abandoned and left in a field either by Logan or some deplorable person he had given Pearl to. Thankfully, Pearl was later found and taken in by the animal sanctuary, the Gentle Barn. Another example of Logan's abusive and negligent behavior is when his pet parrot, Maverick, was eaten by his dog. Coyotes had also killed another one of Logan's dogs, Kong, around the same time. Logan then took it upon himself to hunt down a random coyote and kill it before stuffing it to put on display. There is also a video of Logan allegedly pushing another one of his dogs off of his boat before jumping in to save it. While Logan is not actively torturing animals for fun like others in this category, his sheer negligence is enough to warrant his place here. Channel Awesome is an active YouTube channel with 1.4 million subscribers and 4.2 thousand videos. While Channel Awesome once hosted a plethora of different creators, it is now mostly just Doug Walker and his famous character, the Nostalgia Critic. One of Channel Awesome's most famous affiliates back in its early days was Justin Carmichael, better known online as Jew Wario. Justin loved Japanese import games and became best known for his review series, You Can Play This, which helped those who could not read Japanese understand how to play the imported games. However, Justin's YouTube career would be cut short when on January 23, 2014, Justin's wife announced on Facebook that he had taken his own life. Of course, this news devastated many of Justin's fans and the Channel Awesome team. On April 2, 2018, many former Channel Awesome producers contributed to a detailed document titled Not So Awesome, which detailed the toxic work culture at Channel Awesome and abuse they suffered at the hands of CEO Mike Michaud, Doug Walker, and Rob Walker. One contributor disclosed that she had been groomed and sexually abused by one of the producers, but did not mention the producer by name. Channel Awesome quickly released a statement titled Our Response, where they responded to these grievances, addressing the aforementioned contributor with screen caps of chat logs where it was shown that the unnamed producer would be terminated from Channel Awesome on February 15th, 2013, the day in which Justin reportedly left the site. The next day, a Reddit user revealed that she had been sexually assaulted by Justin in her sleep, which was later confirmed by multiple producers. Chance James Finley Wilkins, better known online as Cyrax, is a YouTuber who describes himself as a musician, gamer, and vlogger. Cyrax is known primarily for his music covers and gaming videos, but also for his reputation as a lolcow. There is a huge amount of strange and controversial things that Cyrax has done, but what has landed him at this point in the iceberg is his frequent interactions with people who he believes to be minors. One of these incidents was someone who Cyrax believed to be a 14-year-old girl named Crystal, who was really just an online troll named Kate, who began contacting Cyrax and soon sent pictures of his genitals and videos of himself masturbating. She made her age clear, but Cyrax apparently did not care, and even asked her for nude photos. There was also another incident where Cyrax had claimed that he had dated a legitimate 15-year-old girl named Chloe, but was unaware of her age, allegedly blocking her after finding out. Given Cyrax's reputation, many find his claims dubious. Chris Chan, known by her full name Christine Weston Chandler, is one of the most infamous YouTubers and online personalities, perhaps in the history of the internet, and is one of the most well-documented people ever, with an entire wiki solely dedicated to documenting her life. She has had many YouTube channels over the years, but the current most active account appears to be CWCville Guardian, which has recently crossed the 100,000 subscriber milestone. While Chandler has done many questionable things in her time on the internet, one thing stands out as the most egregious. In June 2021, Chandler began addressing her mother, Barbara, by the name of Barbie Chan, which immediately struck many of Chandler's viewers as odd. Digging deeper, one of Chandler's many trolls called her on the 27th of July, 2021, where she admitted to having sex with her own mother on several occasions, and detailing what they did, which included oral and penetrative elements. In August 2021, Chandler was arrested and charged with 1 count of incest. On the 27th of March 2023, Chandler was released and placed into a group home, and the charges eventually dropped entirely in August of 2023. Godzilla Fan 2024 Productions is a now inactive YouTuber who had a small following on YouTube, but was quickly exposed for talking to, flirting with, and role-playing with minors. Godzilla Fan was exposed multiple times, and even admitted to doing so, eventually deleting his account. There are quite a few videos covering this particular YouTuber out there that cover this in some more detail, and I will link some in the description below. UTTP, short for YouTube Troll Police, was founded on February 12, 2011, by Thomas Parkinson, that conducts anti-trolling and anti-fandom operations. They quickly became trolls themselves, however, and are widely disliked by many fandoms. While I am sure that there are some predators and pedophiles in the UTTP community, I haven't found the particular thing that may have landed this group on this iceberg. If anyone can enlighten me, let me know in the comments below, and I will be sure to pin it. Sam Pepper is another YouTuber who has made a career out of being controversial. Today, his channel has 2.3 million subscribers and nearly 350 million views in total. Sam created his account on September 8, 2010, and quickly began uploading with many of his videos consisting of pranks. His 2 most controversial, fake hand ass pinch prank and killing best friend prank, were widely criticized on YouTube, with the former essentially just being filmed sexual harassment, and the latter as going way too far for a prank, to the point of emotional and mental abuse. Shortly after the fake hand prank was uploaded, multiple women came forward and accused Sam of sexual misconduct, including soliciting nude photographs from a minor, inappropriate sexual contact, and rape. However, no charges were filed, and Sam was not arrested. Sam Pepper is still relatively active elsewhere, but has not uploaded to his YouTube channel in 8 years. James Bear, also known as Doodle Jam, is a Canadian YouTuber, animator, and artist known for his animated videos often featuring his girlfriend Clarissa. Today, James's channel stands at around 288,000 subscribers and has multiple videos with several million views. On March 10th, 2022, a Twitter user by the name of Lalo Does Art exposed James for having an incestual relationship with his sister when he was 13 and his sister was 9. Lalo Does Art posted screenshots of this conversation with James through Twitter DMs and a document about James's behavior created by Awesome Aaron. The following day, James posted multiple tweets saying how he regrets what he did, but stated that Lalo took things out of context. On April 1st, James posted an apology video, but also stated that those involved with exposing him only did it for a personal gain. He also later stated that this incest only happened once, when he was 13. On January 28, 2024, James posted the word "goodbye" on his Twitter account, and little has been heard from him since. James Jackson, known by his online alias Onision, is a YouTuber known for his sketches and satirical videos. Onision's channel has garnered nearly 2 million subscribers in his time on the platform, and his "I'm a Banana" video has over 95 million views. In 2019, Onision was accused of child grooming and abuse, with one woman stating that she and others were sent texts asking them to be chained to the basement wall for a week with a sign around their neck that says, "I'm sorry for lying." In 2020, American television journalist Chris Hansen knocked on Onision's door to confront Jackson about his behavior and see his side of the story, but Jackson called the police on them. A documentary produced in part by Hansen was released the next year, titled Onision in Real Life. I would not consider Diddy a YouTuber, nor do I think you all need me to explain who he is. Jessica Worsham created her channel in 2013, focusing on mysticism content. But by 2020, it had become apparent that Worsham's mental health had started to rapidly decline, as she had become aggressive and claimed that she was being gang stalked. During this time, she was evicted from her home, which she claimed was due to the fact that they were part of a secret society that sacrificed children. Now homeless, Worsham and her 2 daughters would spend time in multiple temporary homes, which typically resulted in Worsham starting physical and verbal fights with the homeowners. Due to this less than satisfactory situation, it was decided that custody of her daughters would go to her husband. However, Worsham decided to instead take her and her daughters and go on the run, all the while still uploading videos to YouTube. During this time, she also purchased a handgun that she nicknamed Betty. On November 5th, 2021, Worsham got into yet another argument at one of the temporary homes she was staying at, escalating to the point that Worsham pushed an elderly person to the ground. When police arrived at the residence, Worsham began firing at the officers, fatally wounding Deputy Lena Marshall, who succumbed to her injuries 3 days later. Worsham was subsequently shot and was killed instantly. The entire shootout was recorded by her daughters and posted to her channel. While the Indigo Mystic channel is still up, all of the videos have since been removed. Richard Lamar Hawk, known professionally as Silento, is a rapper, singer, and songwriter, best known for his 2015 debut single, Watch Me Whip/Nay Nay, which peaked at number 3 on the US Billboard Hot 100 when he was 17 years old. In 2021, he was arrested and charged with the murder of his cousin, and in 2025, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. However, unless Silento had a hidden YouTube channel, I am not sure why he has made this Iceberg over other potential options. Stephen McCullough, better known online as VoteSaxon07, was a Northern Irish YouTuber known for his videos on the science fiction series Doctor Who, and his niche for reviewing toys, collectibles, and merchandise. In December 2022, McCullough scheduled a stream of 6 hours of pre-recorded footage of him playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City, titled Violent Night Christmas Live Gaming Stream. However, he attempted to play this off as a real live stream. There were numerous suspicious instances, such as McCullough constantly stating that interacting with his viewers would for some reason crash his computer. He also flipped his car in the game where he then stated, "Abso-fucking-Natalie," while smirking at the camera. What made this particular moment, among others, sinister was the fact that this stream was recorded as an alibi. During this stream, McCullough was allegedly in the process of murdering his pregnant partner, 34-year-old Natalie McNally, in her home in Lurgan, Ireland. She sustained stab wounds and compression to the neck, as well as blunt force wounds to the head. She was 15 weeks pregnant at the time of her death. Stephen McCullough's trial date is set for November 3rd, 2025. 48-year-old Trent Pascal was a business owner, husband, and father who, on October 21st, 2020, murdered his wife, Savannah Kinchin Pascal, after hiding in their master bathroom in their Texas home. He was shot and subsequently arrested later that day in a Walmart parking lot. Before murdering Savannah, Pascal recorded a video to his family that he uploaded to YouTube.
My daughter to know that I love you, Mackenzie Pascal. I'm so sorry that I've done this. I want you to know that you mean everything to me. And William, I love you too. I love you so much. I love you like you're my own. I didn't choose this. Your mom chose this. She's been cheating on me for a long time. I have audio of her talking to other guys. I didn't do nothing wrong to her. When we first got together, I told her, "You're too young for me." There's an 18-year-old difference in her age. And I knew she was kind of too young, but I didn't. She's been playing me for a fool. I told her not to mess with me, not to mess with my emotions. Don't play with me. I got an audio where she was calling a guy yesterday on her way to get her eyelashes done. And she said, "Hey, baby." And he goes, "Hey." And I was like, "That's not my voice. Why is she calling somebody else baby?" Then she started talking about a dream and everything, and she had with them too about sex and everything. And I put everything into this relationship. I have done nothing to your mom. I've never hit her. I've never hurt her. I've never called her names. A couple of times when I got really mad, I would say a bad word or something, but I've done everything I can. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm like, why me? My hair's a mess and I look horrible. Oh, sorry. Take these off. I love you, Mackenzie. I love you so much. Please do something good with your life. Please do something really good, because you deserve a good life. And I don't know what else to say. I'm so sorry. I don't have better words right now. I'm hurting so bad. I don't know what else to do anymore. I didn't do nothing wrong to her. I provided what I could. I've done what I could for her. I've done nothing but good for her. And I've treated y'all good. I've done good things for y'all. And I don't know what else to say. I love you, Mackenzie. I love you so much. Do something good with your life. Make me proud. Make me very proud. And Mom, I love you. You've been the angel through my whole life, taking care of me. You're there when I need you. You've always answered the phone for me. You've done everything. Sorry, I keep looking at the cameras. I don't know how much time I have. But I've never done anything like, I don't know. I was going back. My mind is everywhere. I can't concentrate right now. Anyways, Mom, I love you so much. You're my angel. I love you. You mean everything to me. And Dad, you've done a lot for me too. And you've taken care of me. You raised me good. You've done whatever you could. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love you so much. You love me like your own.
Pascal spent months recovering from his injuries and eventually bonded out of jail. In April of 2021, Pascal cut his ankle monitor and held a car salesman at knife point before taking off with the Chevy Tahoe he had been test driving. He was on the run for several months before the Marion County Sheriff's Department in Florida received a tip that Pascal was at an RV resort in Ocala, Florida. On the night of January 1st, 2022, deputies approached the vehicle Pascal was in and knocked on the door when they suddenly heard a gunshot. It was revealed that Pascal had shot himself rather than face justice. He was pronounced dead at the scene. While I can't find a ton of information on Alyssa DeVault's YouTube channel, such as her subscriber count or amount of videos, I do know that she was a makeup and beauty creator during her time on the platform. However, in November 2020, she was sentenced to 40 years in prison. Why? She threw 2 of her newborn children away in trash bags. DeVault's murders were discovered when she went to the doctor days after she gave birth in 2018 because a tear caused by the birthing process became infected. After giving her a blood transfusion, doctors discovered an undelivered placenta in her uterus. Doctors questioned DeVault, but she was unable to account for the baby, and the hospital called the police. DeVault will have to serve 34 years before becoming eligible for parole. Devin Michael Erickson, better known online as Not So Fantastic Devin, was a YouTuber and streamer who made gameplay videos of the asymmetrical horror title Dead by Daylight. Erickson made his channel on January 7th, 2016, and went on to gain over 1,000 subscribers. Disturbingly, it seems Erickson liked Dead by Daylight for a particular reason: killing. On the afternoon of May 7th, 2019, Devin Erickson and fellow student Alec McKinney briefly left STEM School Highlands Ranch, a charter school located in Douglas County, Colorado, during their lunch period, and went to Erickson's house. There, they broke into a gun safe which contained a rifle and 3 handguns. The duo placed the firearms in a guitar case and a backpack and re-entered the school at 1:53 p.m. They then went to classroom 107, where students were watching The Princess Bride. Moments later, Erickson pulled out a Glock handgun from his guitar case and yelled, "Nobody move." 18-year-old senior Kendrick Ray Castillo immediately jumped on Erickson, buying time for his friends and classmates to get to safety. After Castillo's heroic move, fellow seniors Joshua Jones and Brendan Bialy lunged at Erickson, wrestling the gun away. Sadly, Castillo was fatally shot in the chest during the struggle. In total, Erickson discharged 4 rounds during the shooting, with the last shot causing the gun to malfunction. While several students were injured, Kendrick Ray Castillo's sacrifice prevented any other deaths from occurring that day. On June 15, 2021, Erickson was convicted on 46 counts, including first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and supplying a juvenile with a handgun. On September 17, 2021, Erickson was sentenced to life in prison without parole, plus 1,282 years, and is currently at the Centennial Correctional Facility in Canyon City, Colorado. Following the news of his son's murder, Kendrick's father, John Castillo, told the media, "I know that because of what he did, others are alive, and I thank God for that. I love him, and he is a hero, and he always will be." Yanis Periskakis was a Greek vlogging YouTuber who uploaded videos primarily of him doing various activities with friends. While it seems Periskakis had around 3 videos on his channel in 2019, it wasn't archived on the Wayback Machine and is now lost. On July 2nd, 2019, American scientist and professor of molecular biology, Suzanne Eaton, disappeared during a run. 6 days later, Greek police found her body on July 8th inside a World War II bunker, and a homicide investigation was immediately opened. They soon found their suspect, Yanis Periskakis, who was taken in for police questioning. He soon admitted during the questioning to striking Eaton, who was 59 years old, twice with his car, knocking her unconscious and loading her into his trunk. He then drove to the World War II bunker, where he sexually assaulted her and left her to die. In October 2020, Periskakis was convicted of Eaton's murder and given a life sentence. Suzanne Eaton was the mother to 2 children and an accomplished professor and scientist who taught at Max Planck Institute of Molecular Cell Biology and Genetics in Dresden, Germany. Anthony Tony Powell, known by his YouTube handle Tony48219, was an American YouTuber and commentator who was quite controversial due to his videos where he discussed hating black women and atheists. Powell was a student at Henry Ford College, and he took an interest in another student, Asia McGowan, who had a YouTube channel of her own. Powell began leaving hateful comments on her YouTube videos, which prompted McGowan to upload a video in response to the hateful comments she had been receiving. On April 10, 2009, a gunshot rang out on the campus of Henry Ford College, causing the police to order a school lockdown. Moments later, another gunshot was heard. When police investigated, they found both Powell and McGowan dead from a murder-suicide. Allegedly, shortly before McGowan's murder, Powell had released a video on his YouTube channel talking about his plan to take his own life. A viewer reported this video to the police, but was ignored. Asia McGowan's father, Turin McGowan, said his daughter was beautiful, an aspiring actress and dancer. She was just 20 years old when she was murdered. Vladislav Igorovich Roslyakov, also known by his YouTube alias Big Slims, was an 18-year-old Ukrainian-Russian YouTuber who uploaded only one Minecraft video in which he played the survival game Sky Wars. At 10:02 a.m., Vladislav entered a building of Kerch Polytechnic College in Kerch, Crimea, on October 17, 2018, equipped with a 12-gauge Hudson Escort aim guard PG pump-action shotgun. Vladislav shot at students and staff, as well as objects such as computer monitors, locked doors, and fire extinguishers. A large nail bomb was also detonated during the attack. 20 members of student and staff were murdered during the attack, and 67 injured. Before Vladislav could be arrested, he took his own life. I always find it respectful to include the names of those who were murdered in attacks like these, but I have been unable to find a comprehensive list of the victims, though I am sure one must exist somewhere. The victims of the massacre that day were Baklanova Anastasia, Baklanova Svetlana, Moisenko Alexander, Ustenko Lyudmila, Jurev Rudin, Stepenko Sergei, Florensky Nikita, Verdy Bosenko Vladislav, Zorovlena Anna, Shegares Daria, Demchuk Victoria, Karimov Roman, Perepelkin Igor, Boldina Ksenia, Pipenko Dani, Karova Alina, Lavrinovich Alexei, Lysenko Ruslan, Lazarev Vladislav, and Kudryavtseva Larisa. William Edward Atchison, known online as Vance Stone, was a YouTuber who created simulations of real-life tragedies, such as Columbine and Virginia Tech. These videos became fairly popular, earning him over 3,000 subscribers across several channels. On December 7, 2017 at 8:04 a.m., Atchison entered Aztec High School in Aztec, New Mexico, disguised as a student carrying a backpack containing a Glock 19 and several magazines. Atchison then entered a second-floor bathroom and began to gear up. However, recent transfer student and football player Francisco Fernandez walked in on him. Atchison then shot Fernandez before exiting the bathroom, where he encountered and killed 17-year-old cheerleader Casey Marquez. Both victims were shot numerous times. Atchison then walked down the hallways of the school, shooting into some classrooms. School custodian Thomas Emery Hill chased after him, shouting about an active shooter and yelling at teachers to lock their doors. Katie Potter, a 74-year-old substitute teacher, heard the gunshots and ushered 17 students into the computer lab office and barricaded the door with a couch. Atchison came to the room but could not get inside. He yelled that he knew they were in there and fired several shots through the wall. Fortunately, no one was hit. Atchison then proceeded into the hallway and killed himself via a shot to the head at 8:16 a.m. Frustratingly, it was later revealed that FBI investigators had visited Atchison at his home on March 24, 2016, due to a string of posts and searches indicating interest in not only researching, but potentially perpetrating a mass shooting. He convinced FBI investigators that he was simply trolling and that he was just fascinated by school shooters and guns. The investigation was subsequently closed when it was determined that he did not own a firearm, though all it took was a visit to a Sportsman's Warehouse where, with his father, he legally purchased a 9mm Glock 19 Gen 4 semi-automatic pistol. Francisco Paco Fernandez was a 17-year-old junior who had just transferred to Aztec High School, the same year as the shooting. He was an athlete who played football and basketball and wrestled. Police believe Fernandez inadvertently saved several lives that day by entering the restroom, as Atchison's original plan was to hold a classroom hostage, but the gunshots in the bathroom brought the other students and staff enough time to get to safety. Casey Marquez was a 17-year-old senior and was a coach at Farmington Gymnastics Academy and the captain of the Aztec High School cheer team. She was preparing to cheer at the Orange Bowl in Miami Gardens, Florida, on December 30th, 2017. Randy Robert Stair, better known online as Pioneers Productions, was a YouTuber, animator, comedian, and vlogger known for his sketch comedy videos and the fan-animated spin-off series Ember's Ghost Squad. In total, Stair created over 168 videos which were uploaded to several of his YouTube channels, though all of them have since been deleted. Stair also worked at a Waste Market in Eaton Township, Pennsylvania. On the evening of June 7, 2017, Stair arrived during closing time at approximately 11 p.m. for his late-night shift. Stair went to the staff area of the store and blocked an emergency exit in the far back. He then continued stocking shelves and cleaning up. At 12:10 a.m., he sent out links to multiple files and videos which detailed his plans via his Twitter account. These files were labeled Journal, Suicide Tapes, and Digital Set. Stair then blocked the remaining exits of the store and locked the automatic doors at the main entrance. He then retrieved 2 pistol-grip 12-gauge Mossberg 500 pump-action shotguns that he had concealed in a duffel bag. He then proceeded to walk around the store where he murdered fellow employees Victoria Brong, Brian Hayes, and Terry Lee Sterling. He then approached another coworker, Kristen Newell, who had not heard the firing of rounds as she had headphones on. He stood behind her for 5 seconds and ultimately decided to spare her. Stair then proceeded to fire at random merchandise in the store and shot multiple small, portable propane tanks, none of which caught fire or exploded. Newell was able to escape the store and call 911. Before police could arrive on scene, Stair placed the loaded shotgun in his mouth and fired a single shot, killing himself instantly. 25-year-old Victoria Brong was a graduate of Tunkhannock High School and was employed by Weiss Markets as an assistant tag manager. Victoria loved helping people and cherished the time she spent with her son. 47-year-old Brian Hayes was a graduate of the Columbia High School and was a night shift supervisor at the Weiss Market. Brian was a United States Navy veteran and was a loving son, husband, and father. 63-year-old Terry Lee Sterling was a shop assistant and was also a beloved father, uncle, and grandfather. Elliot Rodger is arguably the most infamous incel and YouTuber turned mass murderer. Rodgers frequently uploaded videos to his YouTube channel where he complained about his lack of success with women and his frustrations about still being a virgin despite believing himself to be the supreme gentleman. While Rodgers' content always presented his dark and delusional mindset, he began uploading videos to YouTube announcing his intention to punish women, as well as the men to whom they were attracted, for their lack of interest in him. He also emailed a 137-page manifesto in which he described his personal struggles and frustrations at having remained a lifelong virgin to several of his family members, acquaintances, and therapists. Rodgers soon moved to Isla Vista, California, at his parents' urging and his belief that maybe he would have better success with women there. Despite his parents paying for his apartment and college courses at Santa Barbara City College, Rodger only grew more angry and more dangerous when surrounded by more successful, attractive, and confident people and couples. Rodger would repeatedly throw his drinks at couples and women, and even dropped a college class after seeing a fellow student with her boyfriend. One of Rodger's roommates asked to be moved to another apartment, stating that he had huge psychological issues and was a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Rodger soon began to prepare for his so-called day of retribution, choosing the city of Isla Vista as his target. In December 2012, Rodger bought a Glock 34 long-slide semi-automatic pistol at a firearm dealer in Goleta, California. In March 2013, Rodger purchased another handgun, a Sig Sauer P226 handgun, in Burbank. Rodger scheduled his attack to take place around Halloween, but he realized the police presence during the holiday would make his plans more difficult, and instead opted for November 2013. On July 20th, 2013, Rodger attended a house party with the hope of engaging with women. When he attempted to shove multiple women off of a ledge, a group of men pushed Rodger off instead, resulting in a fractured ankle. Rodger tried to leave the party but realized he had lost his sunglasses and necklace, and attempted to return to the party but inadvertently walked into another house, where the occupants assaulted him, causing him bruises, scrapes, and a swollen left eye. Following this incident, Rodger returned to his apartment, where a neighbor saw him crying and swearing to kill his assailants and contemplating suicide. In August 2013, while recovering from ankle surgery, Rodger agreed to meet with a former childhood therapist and was eventually prescribed the antipsychotic drug risperidone, which Rodger decided not to take. Due to his injured ankle, Rodger rescheduled his day of retribution to May of 2014. Despite initially selecting May 24th as the date, Rodger initiated his attack a day earlier. Rodger stabbed his randomly assigned roommates, both of whom expressed desire to move out, Weihan David Wang and Chengyuan James Hong. Rodger also stabbed their 19-year-old friend, George Chen, ambushing each one separately as they each entered. All three died from their injuries. Rodger then went to a Starbucks before returning to his apartment, where he emailed his manifesto to 34 people and uploaded a 7-minute video called Elliot Rodger's Retribution to YouTube. Rodger then drove to the Alpha Phi sorority house, where he noticed 3 women outside. Rodger pulled up to them in his car and shot them. murdering 19-year-old Veronica Weiss and 22-year-old Catherine Cooper. The third woman was severely injured. Roger then drove past a deli, shooting inside and killing 20-year-old Christopher Michaels Martinez. By this point, police were pursuing Roger's BMW, exchanging gunfire with him. During this, Roger sustained a hip injury and crashed his car into a cyclist. After approaching his vehicle, police found Roger was already dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. During his attack, Roger killed 6 people, all of whom were University of California, Santa Barbara students, with 14 others sustaining injuries, 7 by gunfire and 7 who were hit by Roger's vehicle. The victims were 20-year-old Weihan David Wang, an only child, Chinese immigrant, and a junior majoring in computer engineering. 20-year-old Cheng Yuan James Hong, a junior majoring in computer engineering, who described his time at UCSB as the happiest time in his life. 19-year-old George Chen, a junior majoring in computer science, who came to school early every day to volunteer as a math tutor. 19-year-old Veronica Elizabeth Weiss was a freshman and a member of the Delta 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 sorority, majoring in financial mathematics and statistics. She was also part of the water polo team and participated in cross-country, softball, and swimming. 22-year-old Catherine Katie Brianne Cooper, a senior and member of the Delta 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 sorority, double majoring in art history and classics and archaeology. She dreamed of becoming a museum curator and received honors from her sorority for helping to make sure that people got home safely around UCSB. 20-year-old Christopher Chris Ross Michael Martinez, a sophomore majoring in English who had aspirations to attend law school. On his last day, he had participated in a beach cleanup near UCSB. Trey Eric Sessler, better known online as LensCap Productions, or Mr. Anime, was well known on YouTube as being one of the biggest anime reviewers on the platform. While Sessler is still in prison, his YouTube channel is still up. He currently has 19.2 thousand subscribers and 320 videos. Before the incident that would land Sessler in prison for life without the possibility for parole, Sessler posted a video titled, "Mr. Anime is planning something." In the video, he said he would be taking a 2 or 3 week break, though never disclosed what he was planning. 1 month later, on March 20th, 2012, Trey's mother, Rhonda Sessler, took her son to the garage to show him a dent in her car. Seeing an opportunity, Trey shot her at point-blank range with a .22 rifle 4 times. He then walked back inside the home and shot his brother, who initially survived, and locked himself in the bathroom. However, Sessler proceeded to break down the door and murder his brother with a pistol. His father, who was sleeping, was awoken by the gunshots and was shot twice. Sessler then moved through the family home with a rifle, firing at his mother, brother, and father to ensure their deaths. After the shootings, Sessler wrote things such as, "I love my mom, dad, and brother," and "God forgive me because I cannot forgive myself," all over the family home. He then proceeded to wreck the home and kill all of the family pets. Trey then loaded his carbine rifle and over 100 rounds of ammunition and drove to Waller High School. There, he sat in the parking lot contemplating on following through with his plan to initiate a mass shooting at the school. He decided against it and drove to a friend's house, where he proceeded to sleep. The next day, police received a call from family members asking for a welfare check. The police arrived and immediately discovered the massacred members of the Sessler family, and an arrest warrant was issued for Trey. Trey was located and arrested at the friend's house in Magnolia, Texas, at 9:30 p.m. Trey Sessler was charged with 3 counts of capital murder, where he later pled guilty to all charges, and was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. As of 2024, Sessler is serving his life sentence in the Terrell Unit in unincorporated Brazoria County, Texas. The victims were 57-year-old Rhonda Weiss Sessler, an employee at the Waller Times, 58-year-old Lawton Ray Sessler Jr., a favorite teacher at the Robison Elementary School, and 26-year-old Mark Allen Sessler, a beloved son and friend. MOS B46 PGH, also known by his real name George Sodini, was a 48-year-old systems analyst at the law firm of K&L Gates. While Sodini's channel is still up, there are only 2 videos that are, while creepy, mostly innocuous. The content reveals more of Sodini's personality and outlook on life on a website registered in his name, where he posted over a 9-month period his rejections by women and his sexual frustration, such as stating, "Girls and women don't even give me a second look anywhere," and that, "Women just don't like me. There are 30 million desirable women in the US, my estimate, and I cannot find one." At 8:15 p.m. on August 4, 2009, Sodini entered an LA Fitness in Collier Township, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. There, he entered a women's aerobics class and placed a duffel bag on the ground, turned off the lights, and took out 2 handguns and began firing. He fired a total of 52 shots with 2 Glock 9x19mm semi-automatic pistols before committing suicide by shooting himself in the head with a .45 caliber revolver. A .32 caliber semi-automatic pistol was found in his pocket, but was not used. The victims were 46-year-old Heidi Overmeyer. She was a dedicated mother to her son, Ian, and was one among 5 sisters. Heidi worked as the director of school sales at Kennywood Park in West Mifflin and directed children's Christmas plays at First United Methodist Church of Bridgeville. 49-year-old Elizabeth Gannon, a radiologic technologist at West Penn Allegheny Health Systems, Allegheny Orthopedics Facility, where she had worked for the past 13 years. She was described as a wonderful, caring person whose smile would brighten the day of both her colleagues and patients. 38-year-old Jody Billingsley, who held a master's degree in physical therapy and was employed as a sales representative for spasticity and pain control at Medtronics. She was described as someone who enjoyed spending quality time with her friends and family, but cherished the special time she was able to spend with her nephew Alexander and her niece Lauren. 15-year-old Ethan Robert Crumbly was a sophomore at Oxford High School in Oxford Township, Michigan, who allegedly also had a YouTube channel, though I can't find any site that lists the name of the channel, subscriber count, or names of any of his videos, though my assumption is that the channel was terminated by YouTube. On November 30th, 2021 at around 12:45, surveillance footage at Oxford High School showed Ethan Robert Crumbly entering a bathroom. At around the same time, the school bell rang, and students began to leave their classrooms and gather in the hallways before making their way to their next class. Only a minute later, Crumbly exited the bathroom, holding a 9mm Sig Sauer SP 2022 semi-automatic handgun. He began firing in the hallway and methodically walked down the hallway and shot into classrooms and at anyone who was unable to escape. During the chaos, 16-year-old Tate Meyer, a star running back at the school, heroically charged Crumbly and attempted to disarm him. Sadly, he was shot repeatedly, but managed to delay Crumbly long enough for other students to escape. Meyer was rescued by police, but died en route to the hospital. Fortunately, due to Meyer's sacrifice and the utilization of a night lock system, Crumbly was unable to enter any of the classrooms. At 12:55 p.m., police arrived on scene and arrested Crumbly, who still had 7 rounds of ammunition loaded into his gun and 2 15-round magazines. Sadly, 3 students, 17-year-old Madison Baldwin, 16-year-old Tate Meyer, and 14-year-old Hannah St. Juliana, were murdered by Crumbly. In December 2023, Crumbly was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 24 years. Crumbly's parents, Jennifer and James Crumbly, were charged with involuntary manslaughter for failing to secure the handgun used in the shooting. The Crumbleys were convicted separately of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced on April 9, 2024, to 15 years in prison, with the possibility of parole after 10 years. Madison Baldwin was an adored daughter, granddaughter, and friend who planned to study neuroscience after getting to college. Hannah St. Juliana was a student who excelled at sports, crafts, cooking, and more. On her cell phone, her father said he found a list of potential careers his late daughter was considering, including an immunologist, pharmacist, nurse, physician, and FBI agent. After Tate Meyer's murder, a petition was started to rename the school's stadium after Meyer. He was also posthumously given an honorary 5-star rating by sports recruitment site 247 Sports. A week later, Detroit Lions player Jalen Elliott commemorated Meyer by wearing a jersey with his name. Jake William Davison, better known by his YouTube alias Professor Waffle, was a 22-year-old incel who made videos discussing inceldom and his experience being blackpilled. During his last video on the platform, he described himself as beaten down and defeated by life. He had also previously discussed missing out on a teenage romance and often referred to Chads. His account was later terminated. On August 12, 2021, Davison had an argument with his mother, Maxine, which had become more frequent as Davison's misogynistic worldview grew. During the argument, Davison allegedly grabbed her throat and prevented her from leaving a bedroom in their house. Davison suddenly left, giving time for Maxine to contact her sister, who dialed 999. However, Davison returned with a legally owned pump-action shotgun, shooting his mother twice, murdering her. He then left the house where he shot Sophie Martin, a 3-year-old girl, and Lee Martin, her 43-year-old father, in the street. He then shot through the front door window of a neighboring house, injuring 53-year-old woman and her 33-year-old son. Davison then walked to a nearby park where 59-year-old Stephen Washington was walking his dogs. Davison shot and killed him. Davison then walked down Royal Navy Avenue, where he shot and fatally wounded 66-year-old Kate Shepard, and disturbingly remarked to a passerby that there was nothing to worry about, mate. Davison then entered a parking garage and threatened several people, but left without shooting anyone. As police arrived on scene, Davison shot himself with his shotgun. Maxine Davison's nephew stated following her murder, "My brain can't process it. Physically can't process that information I was given. It's impossible. You can't plan for this. You can't see the next day or the day after or the day after. You just literally take each day as it comes. But I just know that as a family, they will come together, be there for each other, and try to understand this horrendous thing that's happened." Lee Martin was described as an absolutely amazing dad. Lee and Sophie were a pair. He would do anything for her. He was a beautiful, genuine guy, always joking, and she was a cracking little kid who had not even started her life. It's so sad, especially for the family that's left behind. Stephen Washington was described as a devoted family man, a loving husband, father, grandfather, and best friend. Kate Shepard was described by her friend, Claire Kidd, as a very talented artist, whose death touched all of the hearts of the village. We are all feeling deeply sad and in shock. Jared Lee Loughner, also known by his YouTube alias Class It Up 10, made very puzzling videos which are indicative of somebody with mental issues. The channel, due to Loughner's incarceration, has been inactive for 14 years. Today, it has over 3,500 subscribers. On January 8, 2011 at 10:10 a.m., a United States representative from Arizona, Gabrielle Giffords, was holding a meeting called Congress on Your Corner at the Safeway supermarket in La Toscana Village Mall, north of Tucson, Arizona. There, Giffords had a table set up outside the store and an audience of roughly 20 to 30 people. Loughner then arrived at the meeting, approaching Giffords before drawing a Glock 19 semi-automatic pistol and shooting her in the head at point-blank range. Loughner then proceeded to fire randomly into the crowd, striking and killing 9-year-old Christina Taylor Green, 76-year-old Dorothy Morris, 79-year-old Phyllis Schneck, 76-year-old Dorwin Stoddard, 30-year-old Gabriel Zimmerman, and 63-year-old John Roll. 13 other people were wounded. When Loughner stopped to reload, he dropped the new magazine from his pocket and onto the sidewalk, where it was grabbed by bystander Patricia Maish. Immediately, another bystander, Roger Salzberger, hit the back of Loughner's head with a folding chair and was tackled to the ground by Bill Badger, a 74-year-old retired United States Army colonel who had also been shot and wounded by Loughner. Loughner was then further subdued by Maish, Salzberger, and bystander Joseph Zamudio. Police arrived on the scene at 10:15 a.m. and arrested Loughner. On November 8, 2012, Loughner was sentenced to 7 consecutive life terms, plus 140 years in prison, without the possibility of parole. Gabby Giffords was determined to be the target of the attack, but miraculously did not die instantly from the point-blank gunshot. While waiting for paramedics, Giffords' intern, Daniel Hernandez Jr., applied pressure to the gunshot wound on her forehead and made sure she did not choke on her own blood. Giffords was rushed to University Medical Center in critical condition, despite still being conscious. Within 38 minutes, Giffords underwent emergency surgery, and part of her skull was removed to prevent further brain damage caused by swelling. She was then placed into a medically induced coma. During a memorial ceremony on January 12th, President Barack Obama announced that earlier that day, Giffords had opened her eyes. On January 21st, 2011, less than 2 weeks after the attack, Giffords' condition was stable enough for her to be released to Houston's Memorial Hermann Medical Center. On August 1st, 2011, she made it back onto the House floor. Christina Taylor Greene was only 9 years old when she was murdered and had been accompanying her neighbor, Susan Heilman, to the constituent meeting, as Heilman believed it was something the young girl would enjoy. Dorothy Morris was a retired secretary who attended the event with her husband, George, who sustained 2 gunshot wounds but survived. Dorwin Stoddard was a retired construction worker who attended the event with his wife, Mavie. When the shooting began, Dorwin jumped on top of his wife to shield her from the gunfire, sacrificing himself but allowing Mavie to survive. Gabriel Zimmerman was the director of community outreach for Gabrielle Giffords and had recently become engaged, with his wedding date set for the next year. He is the first congressional staffer killed in the line of duty. John Roll was the chief judge of the U.S. District Court for Arizona, named to the federal bench by President George H.W. Bush in 1991. Phyllis Schneck was a native to Rutherford, New Jersey, but was just traveling to Tucson for the winter. Matty Juhani Sari, also known by his YouTube name Wumpscut86, was a 22-year-old Finnish YouTuber who made videos showing him firing his .22 caliber Walther P22 Target semi-automatic pistol at a firing range. Disturbingly, among his favorite videos to watch on the platform was footage from a documentary of the Columbine High School massacre. Sari's YouTube channel has since been terminated. Sari was a hospitality management student at the Kahajoki School of Hospitality at the Seinäjoki University of Applied Sciences in Kahajoki, Finland. At around 10:40 on September 23, 2008, Sari entered one of the school buildings using the basement and wearing dark clothing, including a leather jacket and a ski mask. He had brought with him his .22 caliber Walther P22 and several homemade Molotov cocktails. Sari then made his way upstairs, finding a classroom where 20 students were taking a business studies exam. Sari then began firing inside the classroom. According to several students who were able to escape, Sari approached his victims individually and shot them, encountering little resistance. At some point, Sari had even left the exam room during the shooting to reload in the hallway outside. The teacher in the classroom attempted to prevent Sari from returning, but was killed as a result. Sari then covered the classroom in a flammable liquid believed to be petrol and set the room on fire. 9 victims died in the exam room, and the 10th victim died in the hallway. 8 of the victims were female students, 1 a male student, and 1 a male member of staff. 11 students were injured, including a 21-year-old woman who was shot in the head but survived. All of the victims were classmates of Sari's. 2 police officers arrived at around 11, entering the yard of the college where they were shot at by Sari and forced to retreat. Nearly an hour later, more police officers began to arrive on the scene. They attempted to enter the building through the main corridor, but the black smoke had found it impossible to traverse. Eventually, firefighters extinguished the fires, and Sari was found by police. He was still alive despite sustaining a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. He was taken to the Tampere University Hospital and treated, but ultimately succumbed to his injuries. The names of those who lost their lives that day are Kimmo Antero Martiskainen, Marko Olavi Koskinen, Rita Aija Elizabeth Valley, Jenny Mary Lati Roisko, Essi Anina Korkiamaki, Emmy Helena Kili, Tuija Tulia Kotialainen, Anu Helena Finila, Marjuka Josefina Liku, and Nina Emilia Rantala. Pekka Erik Auvinen, better known online as Sturmgeist89 or Natural Selector 89, was an 18-year-old Finnish YouTuber who created his first YouTube account, Natural Selector 89, on March 15, 2007. Many of his videos were discussions about natural disasters and shootings, such as the Columbine school shooting and the Tokyo sarin attack. He also made videos criticizing religions and attempting to prove them false. The Natural Selector 89 channel was suspended for violations of YouTube community guidelines, so he created another channel called Sturmgeist 89. This channel followed the same theme as the previous, though he began to create videos showcasing his guns after attaining a gun license. Easily the most disturbing video that Auvinen posted was his last video, titled The Jokela High School Massacre, 11/7/2007, in which it showed an image of the school, as well as 2 red-filtered photos of himself holding a gun, while the song Stray Bullet by KMFDM plays. At approximately 11:40, Pekka Erik Auvinen entered Jokela High School's ground floor, holding a .22 caliber Sig Sauer Mosquito semi-automatic pistol and 2-stroke engine fuel. Immediately, Auvinen encountered a student who he shot and killed. Other students heard the sound of gunshots but did not recognize them. Auvinen then entered the bathroom where he fatally shot 2 more students. A nearby nurse heard the shots and called emergency services. After shooting and killing another student outside the bathroom, Auvinen saw the nurse and began running after her. He then shot and killed her and another student at 11:46. At 11:47, head teacher Helena Calmy ordered all students and teachers via the PA system to barricade themselves inside their classrooms. In response, Auvinen began shouting and firing a total of 53 times in the corridors. Auvinen then attempted to enter a classroom, shooting 3 times through the barricaded door, injuring 1 student. Auvinen then moved on to the school's 2nd floor and found 2 students sitting on a bench in the corridor. While one of them escaped uninjured, the other was murdered by Auvinen on the spot. Auvinen began pouring the 2-stroke engine fuel on the corridor walls and floors, but was unable to ignite the fuel. Shortly after, he went to the cafeteria and tried to enter, but the sliding glass doors were locked. Auvinen fired through the glass, hitting some chairs inside, though those hiding in the cafeteria were able to escape through the other end of the room. At 11:54, Helena Calmy left the school with the education welfare officer and stopped between the building and a nearby pond to talk on the phone. The education welfare officer decided to continue on to the car park to guide rescue vehicles into the area. Auvinen then emerged from the school and encountered Calmy, who attempted to convince him to surrender. At 11:57, he shot her 7 times in view of a group of students in the schoolyard, killing her. Auvinen then re-entered the school, went back to the 1st floor, and managed to enter a classroom. He then shouted orders at the students, proclaimed a revolution, and told the students to destroy school property. Despite firing 2 shots at a television set and a window, Auvinen left the classroom without shooting anyone. A few minutes later, Auvinen spotted police officers and paramedics outside the school, where he fired a shot at them through a window, but the bullet failed to penetrate the glass. At 12:03, Auvinen fired 2 more shots at police officers who tried to approach and negotiate with him. He then walked into the bathroom and shot himself in the head at 12:04. He was taken to Helsinki University Central Hospital at 14:45, but officially died at 22:15. The victims of the shooting were 17-year-old student Nurmi Semeli, 17-year-old student Mika Petteri Polkinen, 18-year-old student Ari Juhani Paulsonen, 25-year-old student Hanna Katarina Laksonen Kinnunen, 43-year-old school nurse Sirka Aneli Karaka, 17-year-old student Mikko Tapani Hiltunen, 16-year-old student Vil Valtteri Vilsi Heinonen, and 61-year-old head teacher Helena Kalmi. Adam Peter Lanza, also known online as Cultural Philistine and Fuck Comments, was a YouTuber who talked about various subjects including religion, pedophilia, mental health, and antinatalism. His last upload would be on January 29th, 2012. The channel was later terminated, but had 840 subscribers and 31 videos, with a total of 25,254 views at the time. I have covered Adam Lanza and the Sandy Hook shooting before in my videos with disturbing backstories, but I will restate what I said on that video again here. On December 14th, 2012, the children of Newtown, Connecticut, woke up and got ready for school as they would any other day of the week. From kindergarten to 4th grade, over 400 children began to arrive at Sandy Hook Elementary School, ready for another day of learning and fun. Security procedures and technology at the school had been recently upgraded, providing teachers, parents, and students a greater peace of mind. As the final students of the day arrived, the doors, as they always did, locked at 9:30 a.m. Just 5 minutes later, gunshots rang out at the school. 20-year-old Adam Lanza, armed with his mother's Bushmaster XM15 E2S rifle and 10 magazines with 30 rounds each, bypassed the school's locked front entrance by shooting through a glass panel nearby. The intercom system, reading out the morning announcements, audibly picked up the gunshots, though many were unsure just what exactly the sound was. Principal Dawn Hawksprung and school psychologist Mary Sherlach were meeting with other faculty members when they heard the sounds and went to determine what caused them, almost immediately encountering Lanza. The women called out, "Shooter, stay put," alerting nearby colleagues of an armed intruder, but sacrificing their lives in the process. Both Dawn Hawksprung and Mary Sherlach were murdered by Lanza. Another teacher, now hiding in the math lab, heard school janitor Rick Thorne yell, "Put the gun down." Lanza then entered the main office as school nurse Sarah Cox hid under a desk in the office. She described seeing the door opening and Lanza's boots and legs facing her desk, before turning around and leaving. She and the school secretary, Barbara Halstead, called 911. At the same time, school janitor Rick Thorne ran through Sandy Hook's hallways, doing all he could to alert faculty and students. After leaving the main office, Lanza entered room 8, a first-grade classroom, where Lauren Rousseau, a substitute teacher, had attempted to hide her first-grade students in a bathroom. Teachers Lauren Rousseau and Rachel Davino were murdered, along with 15 students in Rousseau's class. A 6-year-old girl, the sole survivor, was found by police in the classroom following the shooting. Her family's pastor said she survived by playing dead, and when she spoke to her mother on the phone, she said, "Mommy, I'm okay, but all my friends are dead." Lanza then went to room 10, another first-grade classroom nearby. According to some reports, the classroom's teacher, Victoria Lee Soto, had concealed some of the students in a closet or bathroom while other students hid under desks. Soto was walking back to the classroom door to lock it when Lanza entered the classroom. Soto put herself between her students and Lanza, being murdered in the process. A special education teacher, Anne-Marie Murphy, working to help special needs students in Soto's classroom, attempted to shield 6-year-old Dylan Hockley. Tragically, both were murdered by Lanza. Lanza then walked to the back of the classroom, saw the children under the desks, and shot them. First grader Jesse Lewis allegedly shouted at his classmates to run for safety, and several of them did. Lewis was looking at Lanza when Lanza fatally shot him. Some sources state 6 children escaped the classroom, others 9, but Soto, Murphy, and 4 children lay dead in the classroom. One child was taken to the hospital, but later pronounced dead. The students killed in the Sandy Hook massacre were 6-year-old Charlotte Bacon, 7-year-old Daniel Barden, 6-year-old Olivia Engel, 7-year-old Josephine Gay, 6-year-old Dylan Hockley, 6-year-old Madeline Shue, 6-year-old Catherine Hubbard, 7-year-old Chase Kowalski, 6-year-old Jesse Lewis, 6-year-old Anna Marquez Green, 6-year-old James Mattioli, 7-year-old Grace McDonnell, 6-year-old Emily Parker, 6-year-old Jack Pinto, 6-year-old Noah Posner, 6-year-old Caroline Praviti, 6-year-old Jessica Ricos, 6-year-old Aviel Richmond, 6-year-old Benjamin Wheeler, and 6-year-old Allison Wyatt. The faculty who lost their lives that day were 29-year-old Rachel Davino, 47-year-old Dawn Hawksprung, 52-year-old Anne-Marie Murphy, 30-year-old Lauren Rousseau, 56-year-old Mary Sherlack, and 27-year-old Victoria Lee Soto. Well, there it is. This video took several weeks to make, in between work and my college courses. I have always loved long Iceberg videos, so I decided it would be fun to go ahead and make my own. It took me way longer than I expected, and I had initially considered covering a far more complicated iceberg. Let me know in the comments below if you want longer form content such as this, or if you prefer the shorter videos that I typically make. I want to thank all of you again for the continued support.